All right, guys, welcome to a very cool episode of Two Stupid Gamers. I'm Nanners.
I'm Zero.
And we have been provided some codes from the good people over at Sega for the newest version of Virtua Fighter. It's a Virtua Fighter 5 Ultimate Showdown. It just released June 1st, and we're gonna talk about this game first a little bit, and then we'll get into some verses for you just to check out what the game has to offer.
That's right. So we talked about this in our other playthroughs and stuff like that. This is basically Virtua Fighter 5 with a new coat of paint, but also not really, because this isn't using the same engine as before. They rebuilt the whole game using the Yakuza engine. Isn't that right?
That's right, the Dragon engine. And that's why when you start this game, you actually see the logo of the Yakuza company, the developer that, you know, makes the Yakuza games. So essentially, this game sits in a weird place between remake and port, because it's kind of like part of it is remade, but then again, part of it isn't really a remake. It's more of like a port. For instance, right out the gate, there's no rollback in this, meaning rollback netcode.
Yep.
And that's because Sega has said this game goes with Virtua Fighter 5 Final Showdown, a game from 2012, as a foundation. That's the reason they couldn't give us rollback. So it's almost like, well, then that makes it more of a port. It's pretty interesting, but I think overall the product is definitely been pretty fun. I played a little bit of it myself, and we're gonna play a little bit of it online versus.
Indeed, yes. I also wanted to mention how I actually really liked that they actually went through the trouble of remodeling all the characters.
I also like the redesigns as well. I think more so than the redesigns themselves, I really like the way the stages look. They have a lot more detail than they did before, which is also kind of crazy considering the stages before were also really nice. Virtua Fighter 5 Final Showdown was not a bad looking game, but now you can expect more detail on those stages. So what we're going to do is we're going to create a room real quick so that we can join up. And you know what? I actually have to... I want to take this off first because the people are going to be like, what's up with the HUD? I have the HUD set up to the retro style. So it's like the old school HUD as opposed to the HUD in the actual game.
Wait, you can do that? I didn't even know that was a possibility.
Yes, you can.
Also, before we start, I also wanted to mention that if you guys are big on customization, you can actually customize every single character in this game. You can change their hairstyle, their clothing, give them shiny bracelets and whatnot, change the shoes. It's actually a nice little addition. It's not useful, but it's nice for, you know, a little personalization. You know, you can take a favorite character and doll them up.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. So I just also want to point out I'm playing this on a fight stick. I finally get to use this thing after having it sit and collect dust for like half a year or more. But Zero has elected to pick Jackie. I'm playing as Lion, and we're playing in Laos stage in the Great Wall of China. Nice. So what you just did there was Jackie has this move where if you just stand and he takes a normal hit, like a normal standing hit, he automatically guards it. Careful.
Oh my god.
Close to the edge.
Oh, that's right. There are ring outs in this game. I forgot.
I thought you said you were playing today.
Well, I was training.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say, like, there's no way you didn't encounter a single ring out. Yeah, this game is pretty... It's pretty tense. If you even notice, they don't even give you that much... They don't even give you that much time. Like, the timer is only set to 45 seconds by default.
Jesus Christ.
That's right, we're playing my fighting game today, so I'm gonna be kicking his ass a little bit here. But I'll switch to other characters too. I'm not gonna just use my main. And but yeah, no, so yeah, VF is pretty intense. It's always been 45 seconds on that. It's always had these crazy ring outs.
Christ.
Oh, nice. Now I know how that can be blocked.
Oh, finally, something. Hooray.
He says finally, we just started.
Well, you were kicking my ass for a while. But no, I wanted to mention, like, one thing that I noticed about the animations, like, if you notice Jackie, like, he has this weird bounce to him that just doesn't seem natural. And it makes me just think, like, wow, they really didn't bother to reanimate.
What do you mean, bounce?
Just look at him. It doesn't seem natural. Like, just look at him.
Like his idle, kind of the way he's moving?
Yeah, his idle animation.
I mean, he's a fighting game character.
Oh, you freaking uppercutted me. I want to see that. I want to see that. Freaking Shoryuken out of nowhere.
Yeah, that one comes in handy. But no, I mean, he's a fighting game character. That's what he does. He doesn't just stand. He's standing in like a I'm ready to go kind of state.
Oh no, I understand. Again, I studied freaking karate, and you're taught to actually do like a little bounce and whatnot, you know, to keep yourself moving, to keep yourself active. So when I see Jackie do that, I'm like, that's good. That's what a fighter should be doing. It's just, as an animator myself, it doesn't seem natural. Like gravity isn't holding him down as much as it should.
I see. Well then I got bad news for you when you see some of the downed attacks, because sometimes these characters just it's been said before, they just fly to the moon. Yeah, there's certain attacks where they will literally jump up into the air in an insane amount. Kage's, I always wish I could I had learned to play this character, but Kage has a great he's got this great move where he just flips you into the air.
Oh Christ. And you broke the freaking handle. What the heck?
That can only happen at the end of the round. Now that's like an open hazard, so that can, you know, dramatically affect the play, because now there's just an area where you could be pushed out of, whereas before it was a wall and you had to be kind of knocked over. Now, I know you play a lot of Soul Calibur, and in Soul Calibur, what I remember from that game, it takes a lot more to get somebody over the wall than it does in this game. In this game, yeah, you pretty much slide out like you're covered in melted butter.
Peace. I hear that. In Soul Calibur, I mean, that was my introduction to 3D fighting games. So whenever I play another 3D fighting game, you know, that actually lets you take advantage of the arena, that's basically what I base my knowledge of. You know, I basically try to play it a little bit like if it's Soul Calibur, and I end up liking the game more if it does play more like Soul Calibur or not. Yeah, no, it's the this is what, for me, playing 3D fighting games more so than 2D fighters, I always notice that I like Soul Calibur, but to me that game feels really stiff. Like, out of all the ones that I've played, it feels a lot stiff. Tekken feels like it's more of a 2D fighting game, since sidestepping isn't as important, but it feels a little bit more free, especially with the movement. And then this is a lot more free than Tekken, and then DOA is like just, it's super loose. It's weird that you say that, because I feel Soul Calibur is way more loose than any of those other games, because you're not limited to moving side to side and then having to double tap up and down to go into the arena. You literally, if you want to go into the arena, you just move the analog stick or D-pad up, and that's it. You don't need a double tap. For me, that's more liberating. Yeah, what I'm saying though is, like, think about when you sidestep in Soul Calibur. Does it really feel as loose as like DOA or Virtua Fighter? Not to me. Maybe not as quick. Maybe not as quick. It feels OD stiff to me. It's just what I'm saying. I see what you mean now. Yeah. And again, in Tekken, sidestepping doesn't really feel like it's as necessary for the most. I mean, not necessary. It doesn't play as big of a role in the, like, you know, I could dodge an attack by sidestepping to the side. But yeah, in terms of Soul Calibur and this, in Soul Calibur, I remember you could basically be pushing someone against the air and comboing them, and you will not kick them over the edge until a certain point. In this game, that's not the case. They basically just fall over, and then sometimes, as we saw in the last match, you will actually break the wall behind you. Oh my god! You did this stance and you're like, okay, time to die. Yeah, all the characters here have special stances, or at least the majority of them do, and that allows you to do a whole other set of moves.
And a lot of time the stances will also just involve a kind of a counter too.
Oh, I've been noticing that stances are a thing.
Yeah.
And I'm not used to them. And it's not because of like Soul Calibur or Street Fighter, it's just they have those too. I just never bothered learning them.
Yeah, no, it's important here because you don't have supers in this game. You don't have projectiles. You don't have certain stuff like that, like all the flashy things that a lot of the other fighting games have. So your power is in knowing the moveset of the character. You got to find out which moves are like the safest to throw out. You got to find out, you know, what's your good reaction for, what's your good response for certain things that can happen in the course of the match. Like that, for instance, the flash kick.
Yo, when I saw that Jackie can do that, I was like, oh, he has to be my character. Like, it just makes sense. Oh, macking me into the wall.
We're playing as two masked dudes. I'm going with El Blaze, the new addition to Virtua Fighter 5, and Zero's going with a staple, which is Kage.
Did you give them new costumes, or is this just like one of the options?
This one is Type B. Before I was using a custom costume with Lion, so he had a skateboard on his back.
And, I saw.
Yeah, now I just switched to B. If you ever... At base, they start out with Type A, Type B, and Type C. Those are the 3 regular costumes, but you can change it up on there. I think because they made this game esports, they took away costume E, which was always a bikini or a swimsuit for the guys. Yeah, that's the problem. One of the things that stood out to me when Sega was so forefront about making Virtua Fighter go esports was like, oh man, they're gonna, well, one of the things, a lot is gonna change, and one of them is that there's gonna be a bit more sensitivity, because like they took all that stuff out of Street Fighter, and that was a big deal for a lot of people and stuff like that. Now granted, this game still has jiggle physics, that's still in there, but as an
animator and a guy that likes, you know, a lot of detail in his games,
I thought you were going somewhere completely else with that, but okay, go ahead.
I was gonna say, like, jiggle physics makes sense. Like, if anything, it goes with like the freaking clothing physics. I mean, for Kage, you see his things move around whenever he moves. Imagine if it was all stiff like that. That'd be weird. And sure, people might find it sexual, you know, jiggle physics, but it'll happen in real life, so why not let it happen in the game?
And Virtua Fighter, after all, is one of the most realistic fighting games because, again, there's no flashy stuff here. Nobody's throwing fireballs. Outside of when they jump really high, like stupidly high, like impossibly high. For the most part, there's really nothing here that's unreal. These are all, for the most part, real martial arts type fighting styles, and it's like you're just watching two people fight as if they just would, you know?
It's one of the things I actually really appreciate about Virtua Fighter, because even though Soul Calibur feels the best for me when it comes to a fighting game, at least in Virtua Fighter, like, because I learned karate as a kid, I can see a guy actually use karate moves and not just be like, I'm gonna throw a fireball out of my hands. I'm gonna do an uppercut with a burning fist. I'm gonna do 1,000 kicks in a second.
Dude, you just never took that class, the one where you shoot fire out your hands? What are you talking about? It's really helpful. So, yeah.
Want to teach me? Mr. Oh, I took that class. Oh, God. Yo, Kage is freaking huge.
Oh, yeah. Well, so the character that I'm playing, Blaze, they invented another weight class for him. He's the featherweight. He's the only one in that class, if I'm not mistaken. And yeah, he's really like small. He's not a big character. Just another thing that's kind of realistic too. Certain moves will not apply the same to other characters. So, like El Blaze is really light, so he'll fly very easily, and that can impact how effective your combo would be against him. Whereas if you're playing as Taka, the sumo wrestler, your combos don't work the same. So you actually have to adjust for playing some of those heavier characters.
Oh my God. No, that's actually very interesting to hear, because I'm not used to the idea of weight classes.
Yeah.
like, of course, for me in certain fighting games, if someone's heavier or they're using like big ass weapons or whatever, they move slower. That's the only experience I have with weight. Virtua Fighter, you just said it yourself, like certain characters will work a certain way depending on the weight. And that's something I'm gonna have to learn to adjust to.
Yeah. No, they went full realism on this. In fact, in the old Virtua Fighter 5, the original Vanilla 5, it also mattered your foot placement too. I believe that affected the combos. So if you were standing left to right, or like, you know, like let's say if I could flip. Oh, I can't flip. Like if I'm standing like this, or if I was standing like this, that could influence how combos would work in Virtua Fighter 5 Vanilla. And they took that out in Final Showdown. It didn't really make much of a difference anymore, but that was a big thing for that. And again, it's kind of like a little more realism into the game, which is pretty cool. I definitely appreciate it. Oh yeah, this move is crazy.
Did you just go? Yeah, I was like, you went from like going vertically down to going sideways and hitting me.
Ah, yeah. That move is crazy. I think it's unblockable. Unfortunately, I never got around to learning Blaze or some of the other cast members, but Blaze is a great character to watch at a high level.
Jesus, take the wheel. I had him down and I couldn't kill him. But no, so I do like how Virtua Fighter works. Like, if I had to choose Virtua Fighter versus Tekken, I'd choose Virtua Fighter any day of the week. Yeah, because to me, Tekken just feels so weird and limited. Like, this just feels natural. Like, if I press up, I don't jump, I move. I like that. Oh, shit.
Nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, you're
I like that I don't jump when I press up. That's not how I want it to work.
It's definitely different.
Yeah, if this is a 3D fighter.
Tekken's closer to... Tekken's like a 2D fighting game that happens to have...
an arena.
3D sidestepping. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And no, I mean, it's honestly they're all valid. They're all great 3D fighting games.
Oh yeah, it just depends on your taste. My taste, it just doesn't work.
And they did a lot of cool stuff with revamping this game. Obviously, there's the visual upgrade as well, but they changed the music, they changed the menus, and it's again, this game kind of sits in a weird place because it was so strange to pick this game up, and I'm like, all the stuff that I used to do still works. I'm not complaining because it gave me a really cool like start versus like some other people, but at the same time, this isn't really a remake in my opinion, or
it's hard to say. I would put this as more of a remaster in all honesty. Not even a port, not a freaking remake, just a remaster, because they updated the visuals. They gave it new lighting. This is not the same lighting from the original. They remade the menus.
It's made in a different engine. It wouldn't be the same lighting.
Yeah, it can't be. So that's why I'm like, it can't be a port. It can't be a remake fully because they didn't do everything new. Because this is one thing that bothered me. Because they added a Virtua Fighter, like 2 or 3 Virtua Fighter characters to a Dead or Alive.
Uh-huh.
One thing that bothered me about that is the audio. Not the music. I'm talking about like the spoken dialogue.
The voice.
It sounds... How do I even describe it? It sounds old school and bit crushed a little bit.
Yeah, I don't know what it is.
Compared... Yeah, you go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, I don't know what it is, but it seems like Sega's really married to the initial takes from the Virtua Fighter 5 Vanilla, and a lot of those voices just got carried over. I was thinking about the other day, like realistically, some of them, a lot of people have commented that they don't sound good, and all they would really have to do is change some of the English voices, not all of them. Like Blaze is fine because he's a pro wrestler. He's supposed to be talking in like a really funny kind of goofy, like over the top. He's a pro wrestler, so that one's fine. Some of the characters, this is very rare for a fighting game. You can't just choose, oh, I'll just have all the voices in English, I'll have all the voices in Japanese. No, in this game, some of the characters speak English, some of them don't.
Yeah.
And that's just how it is.
That's another thing I appreciate, which Tekken also does. Tekken also does that. Depending on where the character's from, they're going to speak that language. And I think it was Miguel. He spoke in Spanish, and I'm just like, what? That's cool.
And that's just it. So it's like, if the problem is that some of the English voices aren't good, then you only have to do like half the cast. The non-English voices were always fine. There's nothing really wrong with them. But for some reason they didn't change them for Final Showdown, and in this so-called remake they chose not to change them either. But I just don't really care, because to me the voice work has always been it's always just been very cheesy-ish. Like back in the day, Lion and Jackie and Sarah, I mean, that's just how the voices were. Really wasn't such a big deal to me personally. I know Zero's a big into voice acting now, so for him it's very bothersome, but like for me, I honestly don't really care. I'm just surprised that Sega didn't choose to do that, because if this game came out like 12 years ago, it just feels like why not just do that thing. Okay. I need to get to the new character.
Focus?
No, I just don't know how to play Blaze. Blaze has a lot of really cool stuff, but
fuck me. Yeah, we should be switching to another character as well. I should be. What am I saying? I should be switching.
We
both need to switch.
Yeah, but no, I mean, again, it's, to me, honestly, the most important part, and this is like no BS, no like content creator promo, whatever. Like, we did get codes, and that was really nice of Sega, but to me the most important part is I just really like seeing that people are talking about Virtua Fighter, and that like there's a bunch of people playing. We were trying to start a room before doing this, and some dude immediately joined. Like, that was never the case, that kind of activity, to just see everybody all of a sudden is playing Virtua Fighter. It's pretty nice, and now I get to play it on PS4 as well, so I'm pretty stoked about that.
I mean, you can play it on both PS4 and 5, because again, it's backwards compatible, so it doesn't matter. Which actually brings me to another point. And this is something that you're probably also pissed off about, because we mentioned this before in a different video. This is a PS4 exclusive. Like, this is PlayStation exclusive.
Right. Yeah, it's a PlayStation exclusive, and I feel like that kind of gives it like a hit, because it's gonna be PlayStation exclusive. But you know what's so interesting? I was thinking about that too. It's gonna be PlayStation exclusive, and that's a Sony platform. Who just bought Evo? Who paid money for a fighting game, the biggest fighting game event in the world? That means that Virtua Fighter is likely gonna be headlining at Evo, which is kind of insane, because Virtua Fighter was on the main stage at EVO 2012 for Final Showdown, but since then and before that, never the case. So this is actually a really good opportunity. Yes, it sucks that it's only going to be on PlayStation, but I mean, I think that kind of trade-off is really going to be good to get this game onto the main stage and show people how hyped the high-level play of this game gets. Because if you want to see some really good play, I was there, man. Go look up Grand Finals EVO 2012. It was pretty crazy, and that wasn't even like the highest of high level play, but that was pretty intense.
Another thing to add on to that, since it's PlayStation exclusive, Sony went and said, all right, so PlayStation Plus for June, Virtua Fighter 5 Ultimate Showdown is free. So if you have PS Plus, which is likely everybody who has a PS4, just grab the game. You have a free fighting game to play now.
Yeah. And again, lots of people are playing it.
Yeah, this is only going to give Virtua Fighter more exposure, which means it's definitely going to go to EVO. There's going to be more players. There's going to be people. This thing is way too accessible now if you have a PS4.
Yeah. And again, I think a lot of people were saying this before, like, oh, don't worry that it's not. I mean, don't worry. It's like, to the complaint that, like, man, why isn't it 6? Why isn't it 6? A lot of people think that they're just testing the waters with this one. A lot of companies do this now. We're going to have to do something before we could do the thing that you want. So this could just be it. I mean, it's not to say that this is low effort, but it's obviously easier to just kind of port/remake/remaster a game than it is to make a brand new one. So they tested the waters. They'll see how this does, and if it does really well, they could give us a VF6, and boom, the franchise comes back. And to me, that's I think that's the best end result out of all of this. Did I want Virtua Fighter 6? Of course. Is there some things I'm kind of iffy about this game, like no rollback? Absolutely.
Yeah, obviously. I mean, they could have put in a little bit more effort for rollback, but
they supposedly have a reason though. But yeah,
but again, it's free. If you have a PS4, there's practically no excuse. You can play this. You can try it out. It might taste like chicken to you, you know? It might taste like beef. It might be your next favorite fighting game. And again, it's a beautiful looking game. If you have a really big HD TV, this thing will...
Or a 2K monitor.
Yeah. Again, you have a PS5, this thing will be even more buttery smooth than what you're watching now.
Yeah. Because we're playing on PS4.
So this, again, this is a really good entry point for anybody that's into fighting games, anybody who wants to see more Virtua Fighter. Yeah. This will likely push Sega to be like, yeah, there's way too many people playing. We're going to make money. Let's go for it.
Yeah, and then, I mean, all the stuff that they couldn't do with this, they could totally do with 6 or more. So I think, I think in general, it's just a really good step forward. I can't help but think back to Tony Hawk. We got Tony Hawk 1 and 2 HD after getting Tony Hawk Pro Skater HD. So that was that was like, you know, that was kind of like something that maybe they were also doing the same thing with justifying, trying to justify doing like the good projects or like the thing that people really wanted before giving us that. However, this is so much better than Tony Hawk Pro Skater HD. Like there's actual effort to this and it works really well. It's just
you're talking about 1 and 2, right? Or
I'm talking about how before we got 1 and 2, we got Tony Hawk Pro Skater. I don't even remember what it was called anymore. Wasn't it called Tony Hawk Pro Skater HD?
It was Tony Hawk HD. It was Tony Hawk Pro Skater HD. And again, if you guys want to see like more detail as to what we're talking about, go look at our review for Tony Hawk 1 and 2.
Yeah.
I put in a lot of footage from HD to show what we mean.
The differences.
Because the graphics are shit. The freaking gravity in that game was weird. Everybody floated a little bit as you did tricks. It made no sense.
Yeah, no.
And then and Activision was like, all right, look, there's obvious money to be made with Tony Hawk. Let's just remake the first 2 games and package it together again, but this time all the way, put in a little bit more effort, and it was better. It sold.
Yep. And now take a situation where actually people can play and be like pretty excited about this release because it's playable, it's good, it's not bad. So I think there's a lot of potential for this series to be revived thanks to this release.
Yeah.
And again,
it's before when we were like concerned about the fact that we're just getting Virtua Fighter 5 again, now it's more like we're hopeful because this is good. Like it's a beautiful looking game. It works well. And as a matter of fact, we've been playing online this whole time. We haven't really had much lag.
No.
Like, at all.
And this is delay-based netcode. Also, if I gotta be completely honest with you guys, my internet has been really bad. So, I'm surprised that we've even gone this long without any issues.
Yeah. And this is while also speaking on Discord, mind you.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, no, it's a lot of really good good signs here. It's definitely making me hopeful that something good is going to come to Virtua Fighter thanks to this. And again, I think that we definitely see that we could definitely expect that this game is going to be like prime and center for Evo. All right, so we did something special for this last little set here, and that is they did a couple. We mentioned retro throwbacks at the top. But they did something really cool where you can actually play as the polygonal characters.
This is amazing.
Similar polygonal characters to VF1.
This is amazing. I'm going to be honest. This is the kind of little thing. These are the kind of little details and little extra Easter eggs that I like.
Yeah.
The fact that they added this makes me love this game even more. This wasn't in Virtua Fighter 5 Final, was it?
No, it was not. This is. I feel like the team at Yakuza is just really good at being creative, and they were the ones that came up with this. But yeah, this was not in that. And what's even cooler than just that is the fact that this is for all the characters, including the ones that were in Virtua Fighter 1, because Aoi was not in Virtua Fighter 1. She got her debut, I think, in 2 or maybe even 3. Yeah, no, I think it was 3. So those characters, even Taka, even El Blaze and Eileen, who were introduced in 5, got versions of themselves polygonized. It's just great. It's a really fun little throwback. Ooh, did you just counter that? What?
I'm gonna be honest. I was button mashing.
But that was a downed attack. I didn't know you could counter that. Anyway, you're in a world of hurt because I'm
You're a Shun main?
No. I'm Shun and I have 15 drinks. Shun is a cool character because I compare him to Brad Wong in DOA and Lei Wulong in Tekken, if anybody plays Tekken. Except he's much harder because you actually have to unlock his moveset, and you do that by stepping away and drinking. After you get to a certain point, he's so insanely hard to fight because he has all these ridiculous moves that unfortunately I can't show it all off, but it's crazy.
Dude, I love the fact that they added all these polygonal skins. This drives me nuts. I like that.
Yeah, it was really cool. It's super nostalgia heavy. They also have something called like a tournament mode, but that isn't ready yet, so that hasn't been like that's not accessible just yet. I also want to say about Eileen, we're not going to get to see it here because we're in the block modes, but basically Eileen looked really bad in Virtua Fighter 5 Final Showdown. Like, she looked very strange, but they fixed her. She just looks like a normal person in the thanks to the Yakuza engine.
Yo, I was gonna say, I don't really remember Eileen looking this good.
No.
And she just looks normal.
Yeah, she looks like a normal person now.
Jesus Christ, beating the shit out of me.
Dude, it's
but again,
Wolf. What do you expect?
Eileen is... You said Eileen was introduced in 5, right?
She was introduced in the original Virtua Fighter 5, yep. Her and Blaze were the 2 new characters.
She looks like she belongs.
Mm-hmm.
In comparison with Wolf here, she looks good. Oh god, and she might be one of my mains. She's smoother than butter. Holy shit.
She's one of the most annoying characters to play against.
Oh, good.
All the characters have their strong points and their weak points and stuff, and if you're playing someone that really knows what they're doing, like with whatever character, obviously they're gonna be difficult to play against. But Eileen specifically is one of the most annoying.
Christ almighty. Oh.
But
god damn. Now I'm actually curious, because again, they could actually give us like DLC for this if they wanted. It'd be awesome if we could get like polygonal backgrounds to go along with these polygonal skins.
Yes, I was thinking that. I'm like, that would be insane. I don't think they'll do it, but that would be really cool. Or even just like a couple of stages that are like the old school stages just redone polygonally. I and a lot of the other people are huge fans of the polygonal characters.
Oh, yeah. Get out of here. We're going for that final. I like Aileen. She works good.
And now the question kind of is, speaking of DLC, I was gonna say that the character select screen has a couple of extra slots to it, and the question
like it has space.
Yeah, the question ends up being, I wonder if they're gonna go for some kind of DLC characters, or would they not do that in this game? Would they save it for VF6 if they're working on that?
I think the best thing they could do for DLC is just add characters that were cut from the original 5. Like characters that appeared in 1 and 2 but didn't appear in 5. It'd be nice to just bring them back in.
That's kind of the thing, dude. Virtua Fighter is very unique. They've never cut characters.
Really?
No. Virtua Fighter has a pretty small cast overall, but like for the most part, yeah, they. Hold on, I don't want to play as Wolf.
I think I goofed. Yeah, I goofed. I'm sorry, bro.
Yeah, but no, Virtua Fighter has a very small cast, so the one thing that it has over every other fighting game when it comes to the roster is that you can basically every character that's been in Virtua Fighter you can play. That's never really been the case where there was like, oh, this character was in, this one's not going to be in the new one, or this one's going to be in the new one, but it's going to be DLC. No, they're all in it, at least from Final Showdown, because they took away Taka for some reason, and then they brought him back for Final Showdown, and then he's in this game still. So there you go, basically. What else?
Another thing to like Virtua Fighter for then, because again, as a Street Fighter fan, as a Street Fighter fan, as a Soul Calibur fan, it's annoying when the new game comes out, but the character you mained in the previous game is gone.
Or Mortal Kombat.
Like, that's frustrating. Mortal Kombat, yep.
I could kind of give a pass to Mortal Kombat because at least they give it like a reason. Like,
yeah, like story-wise.
Yeah, my man was always Smoke in Mortal Kombat since 9. Smoke and then Reptile, but the thing is that I was pissed off for 10, I think it was, or 11. They took Smoke out. I'm like, what the fuck? I love Smoke. How could you just take him out?
They took Noob Saibot out. What are you talking about? I hated that. He's my best.
But they kind of worked it into the story because technically Smoke is still in it. They combined him with like another character's costume or something. I'm like, that sucks, but it's like part of the story. So I guess I could give it sort of a pass. When companies take out previous characters from the previous fighting game, and then they just sell them to you as DLC, like Capcom, that is just shady and underhanded. I'm sorry, that's inexcusable. If you knew you were gonna put them in anyway, you know, it's just like, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah.
But yeah, you don't have to worry about that with Virtua Fighter because in VF you basically have the full cast every game. The cast only has gotten bigger. It's never gotten smaller.
You wanna know what would be stupid and amazing at the same time?
What's up?
Sonic.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Sonic
like,
as a VF character?
So how far are they planning to expand this game? Are they going to do more with it, or are they just going to leave it with what it is now? Because that character roster looks like it's doing the usual fighting game thing where they leave a slot or two open, and then they'll fill it with DLC.
Oh,
you know.
Oh my God! You would do a freaking jump kick and I miss. Oh, I need to see that.
That's stupid. That saved me.
That saved you. I'm so mad.
Because I wasn't on the floor and you went low. Yeah. Again, I'm pretty excited. But again, my thing is like, so do they want to do more stuff with it, or are they just gonna leave it the way it is? I think they could benefit from adding a couple of characters. But again, if this is a test to see if they'll give us Virtua Fighter 6, if it'll be worth it for them, then I don't think that they should do that. I think they should save any new characters for 6. I just agree with your idea so much, and I was saying that earlier, but it's like, yeah, if they could just give us like polygonal backgrounds too, oh man, that would be nice.
Yeah, because it would literally be playing like the original, but in HD and glorious polygonal gameplay glory. Like,
yep,
I'm loving this. This is driving me nuts. You don't understand.
Yeah. Because I kind of hate it when I'm playing a polygonal character, but the other player is playing a normal. It looks so weird. And that also applies to the backgrounds as well. It's like, you know, like if it does stand out that we're watching these two blocks. Looks like I'm playing Minecraft or something, but you know, there's nothing wrong with Minecraft, but having
very nice.
Yeah, having the background be all polygonal, oh man, it'd be like you're playing like a super version of Virtua Fighter.
Indeed.
Sorry, Virtua Fighter 1 or 2.
Oh Christ.
But with new characters.
Oh my God.
Wow.
No,
I can't believe that hit.
I'm so. Fucking flash kick for the win.
Yeah, that's Jackie's sister, so they both have flash kicks.
Yeah.
So annoying, but I love it.
And she's got that witch nose in the freaking polygonal skin. It's a big ass nose. What was I gonna say? I mean, I guess they all have big noses.
I mean, they all have weird, really weird stuff. I was looking at my lion polygonal guy, and I swear, when because he's a praying mantis fighting style character, so he crouches a lot. He like he slouches so much that it looks like his head is like a separate part from his body, kinda, because it's jutting forward so much in the polygonal version. It's strange. So there's definitely, you know, because you're playing.
Christ.
Oh no, she's in flamingo stance. Yeah, you got to be careful.
Like, crap, I can't get out of this stance. What do I do?
That was too risky. You got to fight your way out. I think you could double press back and you're good. So I'm playing as Polygonal Lau. Zero's playing as Polygonal Brad. But look at this HUD. It is the HUD from essentially the original Virtua Fighter games, and it I guess is intentional, but it even kind of looks low res with when it says when it's showing you that you're watching a replay and stuff like that. Oh man, it's so beautiful. Again, I'm so glad that we both had the same exact thought. It was like, just give us a polygonal stage. I would pay so much money for that.
Likewise. I also wanted to mention that when we were choosing these characters and Nanners was switching up the HUD and whatnot, we had to leave the room. And unfortunately, that's where this game kind of falls flat on its ass. For some reason, they didn't give us the option to specifically search for a person or to specifically invite someone into the room. So whenever you're gonna play online with a friend, you have to go into the search area and hit the square button to constantly refresh and look for the person that created the room. It's the only way to enter.
Yeah, that's definitely something that needs to be taken care of, because it's just an inefficient way. You should be able to select your friend's name and hit them with an invite or something like that. I mean, I'm pretty sure that's how it worked in the original VIA. I don't know. That may be something. That may actually be something that is just a leftover from Final Showdown. And since again they said that this game was built on a foundation of Final Showdown, a lot of the stuff works the same in that regard, I guess, but with added features.
Christ! Oh my God! You just stomped on me.
Oh yeah, Lau doesn't care. He'll throw you, and then step on you and spin.
Was Jackie in the original Virtua Fighter?
Oh yeah, yeah. Lion wasn't. Lion was in VF2.
All right, so he's gonna get an extra polygonal character then.
I mean, he should. I think they all should get extra polygonal. I'm such a big fan of the polygonal characters.
Screw it. Just give us big blocks. Just give us blocks. That's it. Just give us 2 blocks.
No, but you know what? It'd be crazy if like they could work the polygonal stuff into the customization.
Yo, that'd be nice.
Like if you could somehow, I don't know, do that.
Oh my God! I was
playing.
Here I am thinking you're gonna go low.
Oh, by the way, I mean obviously we're fighting, but I want you to pay attention to the background. Oh no! I dropped the combo.
I'm looking.
Not the background. Look at the wall with the graffiti on it. We can't see it in this angle.
I couldn't see it.
We'll probably
Which
see it.
wall?
You'll see it.
Oh! That looks just like freaking Jet Set Radio.
Yep.
Yo, if we could get Jet Set Radio characters in this game.
Oh man.
Oh, that would be sick. This would literally probably edge out Street Fighter as my favorite fighter.
Now I'm kind of confused then, because are they teasing something or what? Because again, I don't really know what they're supposed to do, what they're planning on doing with this game in the future. But also, I don't remember if that graffiti was in the original Final Showdown. I don't think it was. Oh, and another thing, you see that shark in the background where it says Shark Wars?
Yeah.
That's from SNK apparently.
Wow, really?
Yeah, some kind of SNK thing. So Which I don't understand either, because isn't that separate from Sega? Like Jet Set is a Sega
It's
property.
a Sega franchise, yeah.
Yeah.
Jesus. Let me hit you. There we go. Finally won. We fucking hit you.
But yeah, I was going nuts when I saw that. I was like, what? Sega.
Oh.
Sega, are you doing it? Is it happening?
You and your freaking weird. Oh my god. Man, stop beating me up. Oh. Wreck City population me.
It's hey, that just means you gotta play more Virtua Fighter. And we definitely
now we can do it.
We definitely think you guys should play it, because this game is definitely it's a really good step in the right direction, I feel like. Yeah, they did do a lot right here, and then, as I said before plenty of times, it's nice to see Virtua Fighter in the spotlight for the time being. I'm definitely excited about it, and I also hope that something like this can mean maybe a VF6 in the future or what have you.
Agreed. Again, this is free to everyone for the entirety of this month. Just grab it, play it, try it out. The game is buttery smooth and it's fun. All right, it works well.
That's free on
Again,
Plus.
the only little, it's free on Plus, yeah. So if you have Plus, try it out. The only complaint we have is just matchmaking. But yeah, other than that, this is a really good step in the right direction. This is likely going to see Evo, and I'm excited for the series. Hell, imagine if they add Sonic, freaking Knuckles and Tails, and then they add beats and freaking gum and stuff from Jet Set Radio. That'd be amazing. I'd lose my shit.
Yeah, so a couple of improvements here and there, but for the most part, I think that this, even without some of the obvious, desires for another Virtua Fighter title, like it being VF6 or there being rollback and stuff like that, I still think that this version of it, call it a remake, call it a port, a remaster, whatever, I think they knocked it out of the park, and it's definitely a really good it's definitely revitalized the franchise for a lot of people too. So it's definitely an exciting time to be a Virtua Fighter fan. And once again, we want to say thank you to Sega for providing us for the codes for that early access. And yeah, thank you guys for watching this video.
Thank you guys for tuning in. If you liked what you saw, throw us a like, throw us a subscribe as well. Let us know in the comments, who do you want to see in this amazing fighting game? Have you played Virtua Fighter before, and who's your main? Let us know.
Absolutely. And if you do have it, we'd be excited to maybe run into you online at some point. But until then, thank you guys for checking out this special episode of TSG, and we'll see you guys on the next video.
Take care, everyone.
Goodbye.